I Am Stylin. Adventures in Pop Culture is brought to you by StylinOnline.com.
What's up, fans? It is KP here at MegaCon in Orlando, Florida, with actress Cindy Morgan. How are you, Cindy?
Great, and great to see you as always.
Great to see you, too. The last time we spoke at the San Diego Comic-Con,
Correct.
we got to talk about Tron, we got to talk about Caddyshack,
Yes.
and we talked a lot. But our fans had a lot of questions after our interview, and we thought that we would bring those fan questions to you here at MegaCon.
Nice, I'm ready.
Are you up for the challenge?
Yes, sir. Let's go.
All right, our first question from Dick Diamond was Ted Knight more fun than Bill Murray?
Well, I think they're polar opposites, if you take a look. Ted is, in truth, a by-the-book, trained actor. You got a script, do your job, and he's used to being the funny man. Mm-hmm. Now, Billy just is funny, shows up, and he's so amazingly talented, just rolls. And you need to follow him with camera. Now, Ted and Billy, I don't know were ever in the same scenes, but Ted was in scenes with Rodney. Mm. If you watch Ted's eyes, he was really angry at times. And a lot of acting wasn't necessary.
Right.
Now, Billy would just show up on the set, and Harold Ramis would, as he did to me, whisper a suggestion in his ear. And somebody, I remember when he was doing the flower chopping off the mums, somebody said, come over here, you're going to want to watch this. Billy just, because this is a one-shot thing.
Yeah, right.
They had to plant those mums.
Right.
He just picked up a sickle and just started hacking off. And we were all just stock still, and it was amazing to see this man in motion. But also when I saw the film up on screen, I know Billy, and it's a sweetheart of a guy. And you're like, oh my God. So very different acting styles, very different techniques. Four of the funniest men on the planet at the time were in that movie.
All right.
So what a lovely thing to be in it.
All right.
And hang on.
Our next question from Thomas Phillip. How long were you a DJ in Chicago, and for what station?
I was at a station, I worked in the Midwest in broadcasting for 5 years. Rockford, Illinois, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and Chicago. I started Chicago midday. I went in there for an audition. They turned me down. I didn't say anything. A year later, I turned in another tape. They brought me in. just keep rolling.
Perseverance.
Well, perseverance and good nature. And they started me in midday to afternoon drive, and I ended up doing morning drive at the Loop. And I was actually the engineer who flipped on the Hancock. Now, I don't know if my FCC license covered that, but I did. And it was about a year and a half, and it was great. But I was making $135 a week. I asked to do commercials in Chicago, and they said, no, you're the person behind Mike. Right. I said, I'm going to L.A. They said, go ahead. I said, I'll have a billboard on Sunset in a year. I had one in 8 months, and that was Caddyshack. I just got lucky.
No luck. Preparation meeting opportunity.
Thank you.
There you go. Next question from Eric Rowland. Are you single?
Currently, yes.
Currently, yes, Eric.
Thank you.
Christopher Hamilton asked, did you see Tron Legacy, and what did you think of it?
I did, and I was very glad to see it, mostly because of the folks who've been loving this movie for 27, 28, 29 years.
Very strong following.
It's very different following than Caddyshack. Caddyshack's a lifestyle where Tron is more of a heartfelt situation. And so folks have been wanting this movie made. And so I went to see it, and it was well done and a visual treat. And it was very interesting to see my image up on the wall because nobody actually had asked me about that ahead of time. So that was very interesting.
Okay, Sam Goddard asks, how did it feel working with the first ever CGI actor?
Actually, there were several of us actors in it, and it was, I had actually heard about Tron. Not everybody knows the story. About a year and a half before I was called in to do it, I was dating an actor who told me he was in a cartoon. And he said he's going to lunch with the director and the producer. I said, okay. And I'm listening to them talk about the cartoon. I'm like, well, that's nice, and I'm eating my lunch. A year and a half later, after I did Caddyshack, I didn't work for a long time after Caddyshack. Things went on the set. And the director said, do this, and I said, that's not my job, and things went their way. Disney calls me and said, come on in. And I didn't have an audition for the casting director. I went straight to the director on tape with Jeff Bridges. And I was brought in. What I didn't know was that was the same job that my then boyfriend was doing. He was out, I was in, and 28 years later, I said, that wasn't the same movie he was. And he goes, yes, it is. And I did too. And since then we've spoken, and he says, and I'm never taking another actress to lunch again.
Lessons learned.
So anyway, what it was like was this. It was pretty difficult. It was a black sound stage, roughly the size of this convention center. Right. There was nothing there. And there was a table, when I was flying the Solar Sailor, roughly the size of my table, but it was all black. And, we would just find the reality in the other actors' eyes. Right. One day they came in and they said, you're flying the Solar Sailor, you're crossing the Game Sea Go. And I said, okay, this time I'm going to have to ask you, what the hell are you talking about? And they showed me these beautiful graphics. Sydney did. And they said, it's going to look like this. And that's what it was. And so you had to, it was like being a little kid playing games. You just had to believe. And I found the reality. The only one that wasn't tough to work with was David Warner. When David Warner says you're going to die, there's no acting required. You know.
All right, next question. Joshua Vigor asks, how was it working with Rodney Dangerfield and Chevy?
Again, two very different situations. Rodney was a wild man. He was wonderful. He was like this comic juggernaut. He would say what he was unbelievably brilliant. And we were having lunch, just the two of us one day, because they would break for lunch whenever the spirit moved them.
Right.
So you just sat down, we were eating. And Rodney sat there and he tugged on his collar, just like you saw him doing on the TV show. And he'd go, am I okay? Am I okay? It's my first movie. He had a cameo. I said, Rodney, you're stealing it.
Right.
And he did.
He was a character.
And Chevy and I, he's brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
And I did my best work with Chevy. But it was very interesting. Have you ever played sports? You looking at you did.
I have.
Have you ever gotten against a really fine opponent?
I have.
Did you play your best A game?
I did.
Okay, that was he brought out my A game, and I need to send him a thank you note.
Great. That's very interesting. You know, very often you don't hear that type of comparative.
That's the best way to.
You know, when you play with those other kind of team members.
Dick Van Dyke, actually in audition, said that was my favorite scene, one of my funniest things I've ever seen. Dick Van Dyke.
That's a nice shout out.
And I went, thank you, but you weren't there that day. But we got it done.
All right, let's see. We have, here you go. Paulino Alvarez asks, have you been asked to be in the next Tron movie now that so many fans have demanded you back? Because there has been quite an uproar in that community.
There has been an interesting amount of conversations.
So complimentary.
Oh gosh, yeah. Oh gosh, yeah. And I really got to say, I had no idea so many people loved the movie. And you know, I just met a man from Sweden who flew over here from Stockholm. And he said, when we see these movies, and this is how it is, it's like saying hello to a member of our family. So when I wasn't included in the next movie, a lot of people said, wait a minute, that's a member of our family. Where did they go?
Right.
And because of the internet, conversations came. So what am I in the movie? I've heard two stories. I've heard yes, and I've heard nothing. So I'm just sitting here, my phone works, and I'm just saying thank you. All I can say is thank you, and what a nice suggestion.
Well, thank you for taking the time out of your so busy schedule
Kevin,
again. Cindy, it's always a pleasure to see you, dear.
I've never seen such a good-looking guy who does such a great job.
Oh, please don't stop, really. More to come from MegaCon here in Orlando, Florida. I'm KP. This is Cindy. We are Stylin', StylinOnline.com.
Thank you.
More to come from MegaCon here in Orlando. Kate,
I got you
See, you got
stammering.
me all flustered.
That's
She
my
got me all
job. My
flustered
job
there.
is done. It's
happy? See, it's all about making you happy, Lieber.
I guess we're getting an announcement. The belly dancing panel. There we go.
Right.
Battlestar Galactica.
Batman. Serenity.
Boba Fett. Highlander.
The Empire Strikes Back.
Doctor Who.
Star Trek The Next Generation was my favorite.
Scooby-Doo. Well, at the moment, it would be True Blood. True Blood. True Blood.
I have to say True Blood too.
She-Ra.
Doctor Who.
Star Wars, Episode 4.
Firefly, without a doubt.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Joker, obviously.
Family Guy.
Good choice.